I think when you look at some of the provisions in terms of how the infringement notices and courtesy letters and enforcement notices are going to be delivered, from a normal postal point of view and from an electronic postal point of view, those are obviously big concerns of ours, and we certainly think that some of these provisions are unconstitutional. One of the big concerns we also have is the fact that some of the rights of motorists are being taken out of the equation, in the sense that the RTIA and the tribunal will act as the prosecutor, will act as the jury, will act as the judge, will then act as the enforcement agency, and will decide on whether you have a right to go to court or not. And that is obviously not only unconstitutional, it's unfair. It takes the right of a motorist to decide how they want to deal with a certain infringement out of the picture, and we can't abide by that. That's something that we obviously have an issue with. Well, I think if we have a look at the history of just in Gauteng, in Tshwane and in Johannesburg, where it's been implemented as a pilot or experimental phase, certainly not. When you look at the Auto Bill and at the Auto Act, and when you look at the Amendment Bill, road safety doesn't feature. And for us, we are in favor of a demerit point system. We think it's worked in other countries in the world, and it certainly will add, to road users worrying about the fact that they may lose their licenses for a specific period of time. But road safety doesn't feature in the language of the bills, and for us that's a big concern. Road safety should be at the center of implementing any type of bill such as this, because we have to simply reduce the numbers of deaths on our roads, and these bills don't talk to that. These bills speak about processes, they speak about the setting up of different tribunals and bodies at various costs, and they talk about how people must go about doing things in terms of once they get fines, but it doesn't speak about road safety, and certainly that is a big concern of ours. So the answer to your question is simply no. I think from a cost point of view, it could be extremely costly for businesses. They could find themselves in a position where some of their operating licenses are revoked for certain vehicles. Those vehicles will be taken off the road, and they won't be able to operate those vehicles. That will be obviously detrimental, especially to smaller businesses, well, to bigger businesses as well. Just from a practical point of view, fleet owners will find themselves, if they have nominated drivers of specific vehicles that have received infringements, they could, within a very short period of time, themselves, the fleet managers, the fleet owners, see their own personal licenses being endorsed and cancelled and invalid for specific periods of time. Depending on the size of the fleet, this fleet manager could take years to get his license back again. So that obviously from a practical point of view is also very concerning for us. But I'd like to bring you back, Antoinette, to this whole issue of road safety. Unless everything is underpinned by road safety, you've got to ask the question of why is this being implemented and what is the outcome that you're hoping to get. And if it's not road safety, then we have to relook at it. I think government needs to have a relook at specifically the Auto Bill. I think we've had previous legislation that was very good, that with a few tweaks here and there could have been a lot more effective than what we have at the moment. I think there needs to be a general relook at those bills, at those acts. I think we need to do away with the Amendment Bill. I think it's worded very clumsily, the Amendment Bill. I don't think it involves the public because it's just too difficult for the public to understand. I think we need to go back to the drawing board. I think we need to relook at road safety and at the bills that promote road safety and at the bills that enforce road safety in our country. And from that we need to have as our starting point. I don't think we need to reinvent the wheel. As you said earlier, I think we just need to re-oil the wheel.